Join me in welcoming all the esteemed speakers who are going to be on the stage. First and foremost, please welcome Susan Payne. She is the CEO and co-founder of Sustainable Planet with over 30 years of experience in global business, including 15 years in Africa. Susan is a leader in sustainable agriculture. Her company, Sustainable Planet, addresses food security and climate changes through plant-based protein production, and she will be moderating this panel. The first panel of the day, put your hands together for Miss Susan Payne. Welcome, Susan. Next, I'd like to invite His Excellency Dr. Obaid Saif Hamad Al-Zaabi-Chairman of the board at Arab Authority for Agriculture, Investment and Development. With over 3 decades of experience in finance and securities regulations, His Excellency Dr. Al-Zaabi brings a wealth of expertise from roles with organizations like IOSCO, IFRS, and AAAID. His leadership has been instrumental in guiding agriculture investment for sustainable development across the Arab world. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for His Excellency Dr. Obaid Saif Hamad Al-Zaabi, who's going to be here in a few minutes from now. He's just on the way, so he's going to be here in the next few minutes. Next, we have Marion Cantillon, founder of PitSeal. Marion's innovative work focuses on greenhouse gas management in agriculture, offering a sustainable zero-waste solution through silage covering that reduces methane emissions. So put your hands together for Miss Marion, also going to be joining us really soon. I think we started really soon, I believe. People are still stuck in traffic. I was, for sure, I know that. And next, we'd invite Dr. Lutz, founder and CEO of Collet-Partner GmbH, an agronomist and business consultant. Dr. Collet has over 2 decades of experience in sustainable cultivation and market development in agriculture. So I hope Dr. Lutz is here. He is here, finally. Someone is here. So put your hands together for Dr. Lutz. And in the minutes that we were here, we have developed a friendship, and that is why I got a chocolate for his introduction. Thank you so much, Dr. Lutz. In case you need any chocolates, he's the guy to contact. So it's over to them for our first panel discussion. Ms. Susan Payne is going to be moderating this panel, and of course, it is about women in agriculture technology.
Let me start by asking if any of you were fortunate enough to be at COP28 in Dubai. Show of hands? 1 person. Okay, let me start also by describing the speech, the set-off to the speech by President Lula of Brazil, because it was very impactful. And what he did was this. He came onto the stage and he did this. This is too bureaucratic. This is too organized. We need 28 editions of COP in order for forests to have their own voice. And his point was this, and then he cried. Actually, then he cried. He wept. I've not seen this. It was a very impactful world leader's speech. And his point was that forests globally, especially in the Amazon, are undervalued. Oceans are also undervalued. Women in agriculture have to date been undervalued, and the statistics speak for themselves. There are more women farmers globally than men. In Africa, where I'm focused, 80% of the farmers are female, but only 10% own their own land, which impacts their credit. And why is this important? This is important because food security is an important global topic. I was in Ethiopia last week at the United Nations conference there called World Without Hunger. If we want a world without hunger, then what we have to do is focus on innovation, agri-technology, and investment into infrastructure, and in inclusivity, because diversity means a stronger bottom line and better innovation. We need diversity in not only religion and ethnicity, but also in gender. The problem is that women are still lagging. And in AgriTech, for example, in the US last year, Out of $7 billion allocated, that is 952 companies received money in AgriTech last year in the States, 2.7% went to female founders. That simply isn't good enough. Women have the right to be at the top table, and they have the representation that should be there and the resources that they need to execute their task. So it is actually very heartening and encouraging to me that the organizers of this event had the foresight to put women in AgriTech as the opening act in this two-day conference. In Ethiopia last week, very big conference, over 1,500 dignitaries and others, and the Women in AgriTech and Agri was in a side event. And it was such a popular event, and it was so hard-hitting that we all decided that it should be at the beginning of the next event for the United Nations in the main arena. It is really important that we focus on giving women a voice in AgriTech. And as a woman in AgriTech myself, I've got a company called Sustainable Planet. It was just described. We have an office here in Abu Dhabi. We have offices also in Africa. And we've won the Food Tech Challenge here last year, for example. These milestones, these recognitions are really important. And I look very much forward to hearing what our panelists have to say about what strides they're making in this sector. Thank you. Okay, starting off with Marion at PitSeal. With a strong focus on climate-resilient innovation, can you explain how your technology works and how it addresses critical challenges in sustainable agriculture?
Yeah, of course. So there's a massive focus around climate resiliation in startup space and in agriculture completely now. We've shifted. If anyone has been to the COP, you know we're all climate driven. Everything is sustainability, everything is green driven. We at PitSeal, we went to the most basic, biggest polluter, and the most useful, I guess, utensil in agriculture, which was plastic, and we transformed it. We said plastic isn't sustainable, it's not beneficial for their farmers currently, and we need to readdress it. It is recyclable, but it's still within the value chain. So we completely eliminated plastic, came up with a biodegradable film. This is safer, faster, and of course more sustainable for the farmers to use. We've implemented it on dairy farms across Europe, particularly Ireland, France, and Spain. This allows the farmer to cover his silage pits. Silage are a big thing in Western, I guess, agriculture. It's where the farmer stores his food for his animals, and he has to cover it in black plastic sheeting so that it remains for the winter. So instead of cover it in black plastic sheeting, it covers it in PitSeal, which is our solution that repels any weather and preserves the feed for the winter duration. So we're making it far more sustainable, efficient, and safer for our farmers to continue their practices.
Can you tell us what it's made of? Is it seaweed and what else?
Exactly. So we wanted to be the most conscientious about our ingredients and how we picked it. So it's all organic seaweed proteins, biopolymers, and they're binded together in a gel-like consistency that hardens and settles within an hour. So it's a really nice and cool solution to have developed, and we've seen great results so far, and it's really, really been a great testament to both industry and educations.
One of the interesting aspects of PitSeal was, if this is correct, and I've not discussed this before with you, but that the ruminants can eat the cover afterwards.
Exactly, so that was our biggest key concern. We wanted a no-waste cycle, so we wanted it to be safer for the farmer, as I said, but we didn't want it to add to the waste cycle that comes from agriculture. So the ruminants, which is the cattle, or sheep, whatever you have, will consume both the silage, so the fodder that's concealed, and the film itself, leading to a zero-waste cycle, and the farmer can start afresh the following season. So he has a clean slate to start on.
Fantastic, thank you.
Brilliant.
Lutz, could you tell us, given your experience, what are some of the key barriers women face in the agri sector, and what strategies have you seen work in your consultancy to overcome the challenges?
Thank you for the question. The key barriers are that it's history. From the beginning of agriculture, women were told, or even had no other chance, to give birth to life. Look for the cattle. and keep the household. So they are chief finance managers, they are looking for the next generation, and they are doing animal husbandry while the male were standing outside and doing the job in the fields. So one reason is history. The second reason is how we look at it and how we just value the role of females. The third thing might be that besides marriage, giving birth to a child just takes some time. So just getting back into the job, it's not as easy. Solutions. Well, as we are talking about AgriNext, is just putting women, and it is next generation, the next generation, not the current one, into the driver's seat. Then we may coach them by video calls, as I did it before, lead them, or just not lead them, just guide them, let them make their own experience in the field, being a kind of resource, and if necessary, step forward and tell all these guys, well, this guys or this female guys like Sarita Kanwa has done a good job and we had a terrific time and we learned together. So if there's anything wrong, just tell me, please.
Thank you. Dr. 𝐒𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐵, how is the Arab Authority for Agri-Investment supporting women in the agri sector across Arab countries?
Yeah, first of all, very good mornings. Assalamu alaikum. I'm, amazing to participate in this. I would like to thank the AgriNext to host, these esteemed delegates such as yours, and the other companies. I think they have already exhibited here in this conference. The AAAID is a very rigid experience in agricultural developments in the Arab world. Have been established in 1976, started operated mainly in Sudan, then expanded to the Arab states such as Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, GCC countries, Iraq, and Jordan and Syria. So when we are talking about how to empower the women, the AAAID have been exerted rigid and extensively experience and informations to empower women. We have been supported and funded around 4,200 women around the Arab states in the fields of agriculture and the livestock enterprises. So we are providing microfinance, we are providing fully fledged technical supports to the women. We have around 4 ultimate mechanisms directed to the women entrepreneurs. We were very successful in this field, and we have extensively wide range of informations and details on how we are empowering the women in the Arab world. This is our main outlines, but in details, we are providing mainly, for examples, we are adapting the modern agriculture practices in a way of providing mechanizations of agriculture process for the enterprises, starting from land preparations and harvesting process. We have providing improved by the technology implementations, seeds and any labors, overhead cost, technology, etc. We are providing pair and crossbred animals, breedings as well, mechanism, technology. We are introducing also the modern irrigation system to enhance the productions, profitability of the farms or the projects, offering practical advanced trainings to the entrepreneurs, expands the simplifying access to small revolving loans. In fact, we are very specialized funds, and we are providing fundings to the women's, either the fully fledged or partially to their projects, hosting regular campaigns and building strong network also. As I said before, we have extensive experience with this enterprise, especially those directed to the women's from Sudan, in Egypt, in Jordan, and that is where we are. Thank you.
Are you seeing more activity in tech with women in Northern Africa or in the Middle East?
We are, as Arab authorities, we are covering all Arab states, as they are members in our funds boards.
But Morocco is quite advanced. I mean, Morocco is
Arab states, it's included, and it's a member of our authority.
And that you must see some tech there. I mean, that country has come on absolutely strongly over the last 15 to 20 years in agriculture in such a dramatic way.
Yeah.
Morocco's made huge strides.
Yes, it is. We are still, talking also with one of big funds, Hamad 𝐒𝐲 𝐶, to provide microfinance to both women and, of course, any would like to have any funding or technical assistance, so can be provided by these funds.
But the UAE could lead this so strongly too, because this is a technology center. So it's a really exciting time for the country here.
Yeah, we are participating in all conferences, committees, and institutions around the world. We have in IFADs, we have in 𝐓𝐢 memberships, and we are stand on the state-of-the-art technology in agriculture and ready to provide assistance, technical assistance, and empower the women in this field. So our door is open to all women entrepreneurs to access our websites and apply for the fundings and technical support.
Yeah, and I saw you have calls on your site. You have a call from time to time to actually distribute funds to assist. Because I saw it said a call. There was you actually call and you invest in.
Exactly. On our website there is a window.
This is good news for anyone out there that's doing technology.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm challenging all the people here. Would like to access our experience and obtain either fundings or technical assistance. Can be either through visiting our offices or by the website.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for the UAE and for Arab nations.
Thank you.
Marion, as more women enter the AgTech space, how do you view their representation inspiring young women and girls to pursue STEM careers in agri? STEM being science, tech, engineering, and maths.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've nearly just iterated that there. Like, the future of agri is in STEM with data-driven technologies and obviously highly technical solutions that are now coming to forefronts. So representation is key. I think women have to play a forefront in actually being visible in those fields, whether it be through educational forums or through the business forums, to actually be speakers, to be mentors, to be guiders through that field for young girls and women is key for anyone to even see the success stories and even hear of the barriers that are there or the challenges that are there. Hearing it first person as a woman that's gone through the industry and that's gone through the fields is instrumental to any young person that's thinking of starting up or that has a business in STEM or in agri.
Is your background STEM or
It
not?
is. So I'm currently doing my PhD. I'm still in STEM. I'm finishing up now in March. My PhD is in mitigating emissions. So it's on counting all the emissions that we have, the big polluters, methane, carbon dioxide, ammonia. I've come through STEM, I've seen it. It is a male-dominated industry, but it's so fantastic to be even sitting here as a panel and looking down at female audience members, looking back up at me. So even having that sort of presentation and representation is amazing for the younger generations to come up so we're really paving the path for this younger generation. So really be visible and be seen, whether it be in STEM or in business, but in the agriculture, future of agriculture, I think it has to be celebrated and promoted, yes.
And another paradox is that agriculture is one of the largest emitters globally of carbon after manufacturing and electricity. It's 27% of total global emissions, and yet only 1.7% of climate finance globally goes into agriculture. Now there's a paradox. Anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's brilliant, well said.
Yeah, it's quite shocking actually. When you look at the statistics, it's pretty terrible.
And it's brilliant to even see that funds are available, but along with funding, you kind of need mentorship and guidance, and I think that's where it plays a key role. It's kind of a suite of supports that need to be available going forward for any agribusiness, especially accessing those fund pots. Although they're small, but accessing them, you need a suite of tools to your arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. Lutz, just a question about technological advancements. How can technological advancements in agri be leveraged to create more inclusive opportunities for women, especially in regions with limited access to resources?
Thank you for the question. I would like to propose something before my speech. As I see many women here, you're invited to look at LinkedIn. There you'll find me. Then we look at possible business approaches, and then we just go out for the funding. So that when we have the first step of using new technologies for women in agriculture. So please go back to rural communities, ask them where they see business chances, then come back, make a proposal, and then we transmit it. So next year we can discuss about how new technology, who brought us here, like the internet, like globalization, has borne some fruits. So next year or next time will be the time to talk about results. Now coming to the inventions. Well, I believe that techniques is a pretty good thing, because males are there they have more force, they have more power. So if we use techniques to ease burden, like robotics, automatical systems, they can join into techniques. If we use the internet, well, we just look at LinkedIn or some other platforms to join people, to look at them and to bring them back to work. So there's the second thing. Maybe artificial intelligence, being drones like this. And the last thing, I guess, is that we need some change of mind. Because if we think that giving birth to life is an easy task, I disagree. Because if we value this kind of work, then we may have other systems, other point of views, and a more helpful society to keep women back to work. Thank you.
I would just add that the company that I have in Africa is a good example of technological advancements and how they can be leveraged to create good opportunities on the ground. We grow plant protein on non-arable land using 90% less water than soybeans. And it's a very easy crop to harvest in very shallow ponds. And we have the IP to transform the plant into various foodstuffs for both animals, pets, and humans. So protein shakes, protein bars, protein pastas, and also as a replacement for alfalfa. And I raise this because it's a very good example of technology that we have that allows us to hire subsistence farmers in rural areas. In one case, our flagship is in Mozambique, 2.5 hours outside of Maputo. We have the ability to hire subsistence farmers to grow for us there on salt flats that are otherwise unusable. So we repurpose the land, and we hire women, particularly, that can then farm for us We are the off-taker and have the technology with this advancement to create the foodstuff on the ground locally. And a really big issue is keeping the technology local, so that whether it's in the UAE, whether it's in Saudi, whether it's in Morocco or Mozambique, the benefit is to the local citizenry. The country itself gets hard currency reserves when there's exports and benefits by the foodstuffs being generated at a local level. Okay. Yes, please do.
I think this is, very important questions, how to use the technology in agriculture. We've been talking in discussions in too many conferences and look at, what is the latest technology, the revolutions of, artificial intelligence and robotics technology in farming. It's huge. It's, I think another 10 years we'll get, another visions of agriculture. Of course, we'll go into benefits from this. We have a challenge, we have obstacles, we need to counter them, we need to deal with these challenges, especially in our states, in our geographical bands and Saharas and all this. Desertations is one of the challenge, and scarcity of water, soil. That is panicking any entrepreneurs would like to start his projects in GCC or in North Africa in Saharas. So technology can be beneficial in a way of providing, controlling water, controlling soils, fertifying the soils, give more productions, controlling costs, controlling labors, etc. Transforming technology. We know, maybe in Europe, US, China right now, they are, very advanced and they have good projects, showcases in a way of implementing the latest technology. For example, the vertical farmings. That is, the new projects has been introduced to these regions in a way of alternative solutions, of having, a wide desert lands. So, and give the same, volume, same production size, with, less cost and overhead cost. So that is fits, we are talking about women empowerments, and that is fits, even the women's and even the small to medium-sized projects. So of course, technology, we need to have more cooperations, more partners with Europeans, with Americans, Chinese, those who has the technology can be used in these regions in a way of dealing with challenge, overcome the struggles with desertations, scarcity of water, and climate changes as well.
Sustainability, which is basically producing more using less resources in every way. Water is so critical here. In fact, water is critical everywhere. But technology here in this country, in this region, is really the answer. It really is so necessary to have cutting-edge technology here to produce food at scale. And agriculture is about scale and execution. So technology really is absolutely vital to this region. Let's go ahead.
May I? I'm thankful that we have persons speaking out for women. I'm thankful having here persons doing investments, having funds. Now, for me is missing, one important thing. We need return of investment, because otherwise it's charity, or it's just for keeping a business, a big business running. So again, I would like to invite everybody, look at his region, look for appropriate things to be done in regional agriculture, write a proposal, just one page, and then we just get a look how we can get to a market, because the market should pay the efforts, not charity, not science, and not some governmental agencies, because that's not sustainable.
Yeah, and I think what I've seen in my own experience is that gender lens investments actually don't really attract capital. I've got a gender lens fund that funds women across, that is trying to fund women across Africa. And it's hard to raise money for a gender lens climate change fund. What leads the charge is the ability of the technology to solve a problem. And it's genuinely all about the results and about money. Is it profitable? Is it going to create an impact? And is it going to solve a problem? And I don't know whether you find the same thing, Marion, but it's not about the women, it's about the solution.
It's about the solution, and it's about who's actually having the problem and how it's being solved and what's the pain points of that customer. And if you don't have that solved as a business, whether you be a male-driven business or a female-driven business, it's not viable. So it is about your solutions, it's about the pain points and how you're addressing it and what you're bringing to the table. What's your unique skill set that you're offering a different edge, or you're offering a new approach or new perspective on the business. That's what I've seen being real key changes in those funds, investments and roundtables.
Yeah.
Ms. Susan, sorry, please excuse me, but can we wind up in the next 5 minutes, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
In fact, I was on the last question, a really
Thank you.
simple one-liner, or a simple synopsis. Do you think, all of you, AgriTech is critical to the future of food production globally?
Yeah, 100%. That's a simple one-liner you can get. Yeah,
And are you positive about the future? Are you seeing this increase,
I'm
the interest?
Really positive about the future. There's massive drive in the sector. There's massive interest globally from other sectors. They're really keeping an eye on what we're doing, especially with our climate targets and how we're addressing them. So I'm really positive for the future, and it's amazing to see such a great turnout for such a fabulous event like today.
Lutz?
Thank you. I do not only think it, I do not only believe it, you all know it. So I just may ask you to stop talking and get into business, please.
Dr. Zaabi?
Thank you.
Dr. Zaabi?
I'm totally agree on, the idea is technology is the future of everything, and it's critical for the sustain providing foods, feeding, the people. I think, in a decades, we'll find out, the technology in agriculture playing, crucial scenarios and shaping the ways and paving the ways in a way of achieving the food security and having good sustainable productions on that.
Yeah, this is a very exciting time to be in technology in agriculture. It is, without question, in my opinion, going to provide the solutions that we require to address not only food security, but also climate adaptation, climate mitigation, and agricultural regeneration. And all of those are vital themes to focus on globally, and we will not succeed without top-class technology by both men and women equally. Thank you very much to my panel. Thank you.